a special edition of Somewhere on Earth, recorded at the University of Derby during the dress rehearsals for the very first East Mids Tech Week, a celebration of innovation, ambition, and the extraordinary technology heritage of the Midlands. This is a region that helped shape the modern world, from Derby, birthplace of the factory system and industrial manufacturing, to Nottingham, where MRI technology was pioneered and ibuprofen was developed, to Leicester, home of DNA fingerprinting and one of the world's leading space innovation clusters, and Lutterworth, where Frank Whittle developed the jet engine. The East Midlands has never stopped inventing the future. And for the past decade, one organisation has been helping drive that future forward, the Energy Research Accelerator, or ERA. ERA brings together leading Midlands universities, researchers, businesses and industry partners to accelerate real-world energy innovation, from hydrogen and net zero technologies to sustainable transport, smart systems and clean growth. Over the last 10 years, they've built one of the UK's most powerful regional innovation networks, connecting world-class research with industry to help tackle some of the biggest energy and climate challenges of our time. As a Champions Partner of East Mids Tech Week, ERA represents exactly what this region does best: collaboration, invention, and turning bold ideas into global impact. So, in this special episode, we celebrate 10 years of ERA and the next chapter of Midlands innovation. That's Somewhere on Earth, where technology meets humanity. And joining us for this special episode are four people right at the heart of the Energy Research Accelerator, which this year celebrates a decade of driving innovation across the Midlands. ERA is focused on some of the biggest challenges facing the UK's journey to net zero, from decarbonising homes, transport and industry to improving energy storage, grid resilience and sustainable manufacturing. They're also tackling wider issues around energy affordability, critical materials, skills and the circular economy, helping ensure the transition to clean energy works for both businesses and communities. The organisation helps universities, researchers and businesses across the Midlands turn innovation into commercial growth, so ideas developed in universities and startups can scale into businesses that create jobs and regional growth. So first, let us welcome Nick King, Marketing and Communications Manager at ERA. So what does ERA actually do?
Good question, Anya. So Energy Research Accelerator, in essence, we're a partnership of 8 universities in the Midlands: Aston, Birmingham, Cranfield, Keele, Leicester, Loughborough, Nottingham, Warwick, and the British Geological Survey. And we all work together in that partnership in order to essentially help decarbonise, the region help decarbonise industry. So we started out 10 years ago. We had a chunk of money given to us by Innovate UK to invest in new facilities, whether these were labs, so looking at things like battery innovation at Warwick University or solar power at Loughborough University, and big demonstration projects. So in Nottingham, Trent Basin, which is a community energy scheme where people were able to sort of generate their own electricity, sell it back to the grid. And that also involved the largest Tesla battery in Europe at the time. So, yeah, so there were a number of big projects involved. And what we've done essentially since then, I think the biggest achievement is that we're now a big partnership, not just of the universities, but also of businesses, the community, the public sector, etc. So everybody has come together and is working together on solving problems.
Because you can't have one without the other. You can't have the great research at the university without some kind of business investment and industry.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We can't just stand alone within universities doing our own thing. We've got to make sure that the work we do is applicable to industry and that they can benefit for them, so that we're solving real world challenges.
And what are the achievements that you're really most proud of? I mean, you've mentioned a few things that you've done, but over a decade, there must be some real kind of big things, that people might think, oh, I didn't know that.
One of the big sort of programs that we've just completed actually is a project called HYDEX, which is all about building the hydrogen economy in the region. And that was a project where we worked with businesses and we gave out a number of sort of innovation grants where they could work with academics to solve problems. where universities built demonstration projects so that you could look at new ways of producing and storing hydrogen. And we also brought in the whole skills element as well, looking at the skills that were needed, looking at what skills were out there that could be transferred to the hydrogen economy. So that was a great program in itself. We've done so much really, and I think a lot of the work that we've done in terms of knowledge exchange through our events and through getting businesses to come into universities and see how they can work with us. I think that is a big achievement, because I think a lot of businesses, particularly small businesses, look at universities and think, whoa, this is a big, scary place. And so I think we've helped to open those doors,
And get them to kind of talk each other's language, I guess, because I think that's what, I find as a science journalist is you can go into a university and think, oh my goodness me, let's kind of break this up a little bit to understand it. And I think that's always been an issue, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think most businesses can benefit from some academic expertise applied to problems that they have. But yes, by bringing them together, they do speak the same language, and they, when you've got an academic focused on solving a problem for a business, and the business is focused on that problem as well, that's a great thing to see.
And this is the first ever East Mids Tech Week. Why is it important that ERA is here and supporting it? And in effect, you're showcasing a whole day. You've got this great title, Champions Partner, etc. But your presence is quite big here. Why did you guys decide that this is an event we want to support and be such a part of?
Yeah, well, this is a great event for the region. It's the first one in the East Midlands. Energy is a big topic in this area. We've got we've got big companies here like Rolls-Royce that you've mentioned, who are involved in not only aerospace but things like small modular reactors. We've got Toyota just up the road, and the hydrogen cars, electric cars, etc. But I think for us, it's all about bringing that community together to see what is going on, to see what's happening with small businesses and some of the spin-out businesses, and what we're doing with in terms of the researchers and with the students. So I think it was very important for us to be involved, to showcase what this region can do really to the rest of the country and potentially the world.
Nick King for the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And in the studio with us as well is Amanda Baxendale, Senior Business Development Manager at ERA. We've heard from Nick about what ERA aims to do, but turning good ideas into successful businesses takes support, investment, and the right connections. And this is where you come in, Amanda, isn't it? So first of all, how do you, ERA, help your partners to work at scale and support that important research that's just breaking out of those universities?
So by joining together as a collective, it means that we have greater critical mass. This helps to give us profile and open doors, perhaps that would be harder to do when acting alone, and enables us to talk to business communities, government and investors. Universities and the British Geological Survey, they've all got really distinct capabilities and expertise. So when we join this together, we can make sure that we've got the full suite of complementary expertise required to deliver a particular project or start to push certain energy solutions out into the marketplace. And then finally, by being a consistent mechanism through which companies and government can have an ongoing relationship at an organizational level with multiple universities, those relationships can exist and continue and sustain beyond a single person or a single engagement.
ERA is like the glue that kind of bonds these different organizations who work on very specific technologies maybe and developments and different, even completely different scientific areas. But you're just saying, look, you guys maybe work with these guys, or this team needs a little bit of support here, you can help. You're the ones who are just taking that all together and making sure that it works and that all these different industries are working together as a team.
Absolutely. So yeah, we try and sit at that interface, and I suppose, to steal a word that's on trend, we try and be that super connector.
Super connector, that's a great word. And I guess the other thing is that you're a super developer, really, because there's this amazing richness and diversity of research at universities. But to get that out of that academic area, that academic feel, and into business and into industry is quite hard. And that's also where you come in, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So we really try and work hard to make sure that we take those opportunities to really help showcase and profile what is happening inside our partners and how people can take that and make use of it outside the walls of universities and research organisations. So we'll use things like the hydrogen outreach and research network and invite them to speak at conferences and events like the expo that we're here to talk about today.
So you've got East Mids Tech Week, great dress rehearsals going on in and around Derby at the moment for it, happening on June the 16th. And this is a great opportunity for businesses to come along and see what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. So, I'm really proud of the programme that we have built and developed. So if people don't know the rich industrial history and all the potential of the region around nuclear, fission, fusion, hydrogen, the role of batteries and energy storage, it's going to be a great day for people to understand that. But then we've also got these fabulous spotlight opportunities where you can hear about some of the companies that have been formed out of the IP-rich research that has come from the universities.
So it sounds as though there's almost something for everyone. But what makes the Midlands such a strong place to build and grow these innovation businesses?
Well, of course, I'm biased and I'm going to say the great universities and their startup and enterprise programs like Earthscale, which a number of the East Midlands universities are participating in to support businesses that want to solve some of the world's greatest sustainability and environmental challenges. Around universities often spring up and investments are made in really great facilities and buildings that when you're in particular scientific fields like life sciences, advanced manufacturing and engineering, you really need access to those specialist facilities and workspaces in an affordable way. And universities, again, they work really hard to make that happen for the wider business community. But then, of course, here in the Midlands, clean energy in particular, we really have got this fabulous ecosystem. We've got these major advanced manufacturing and engineering companies that are really looking at the energy transition. So you've got companies like Siemens and in aerospace and propulsion, companies like Rolls-Royce and their supply chain. And Derby is globally leading as a rail technology hub in terms of its knowledge base and expertise. And then automotive as well, and the battery industry that is being developed down in the West Midlands. And then finally, it's also a really exciting place to be around nuclear technologies with small modular reactors and advanced modular reactors being manufactured by companies that are well known in the region, but then also opportunities for them to be deployed as well up in North Nottinghamshire, around the old cotton power stations. There's conversations happening around having a small modular reactor powered data center. And then just a few miles away from that, we are again, in this rich and privileged and unique position to have a prototype fusion power station being commissioned here in the Midlands. So I really do believe that in the Midlands, we have this amazing breadth of markets, makers, and the demand across a whole range of clean energy solutions. So, yeah, we're in the Midlands, and it's going to be a great place to participate in that clean energy transition.
Thank you very much, Amanda. We'll be hearing more from you later in the show and also in the ad-free podcast extra program. For just $10 a month, you can get lots more soap. Please search pod.fan Somewhere on Earth podcasts. We're here at the dress rehearsal for the very first East Mids Tech Week, and ERA is holding its summer showcase here in Derby on June the 16th. Tickets for East Mid Tech Week are free. You just need to register. So if you're not too far away, please come and see some of the tech that is currently being developed with the support of ERA. But if you are a little further away, here's a small taster of some of the latest projects that will be on show at East Mids Tech Week as part of ERA's showcase. I met up with some of those practicing their presentations at Valiant Live, the new event space in the heart of Derby, where East Mids Tech Week is taking place.
My name is Jubal Thomas. My project's on the co-electrolysis of carbon dioxide and steam to produce sustainable aviation fuel. So I am trying to utilize carbon dioxide, which is being captured through emission processes such as plane stuff like that, to utilize it for another purpose. So with renewable energy, I will put the carbon dioxide as a feedstock alongside steam to produce SAF, and this is done through a solid oxide electrolyzer cell.
So basically you are using the carbon dioxide that we are producing wastefully and you're turning it into a useful fuel.
Essentially, so we want to achieve net zero neutrality, so we can achieve that by utilizing the carbon dioxide which is emitted and then reproducing the fuel, which can then be combusted again. So essentially it's going to be combusted, we can capture it, then recycled into fuel again, and the cycle continues.
My name is Saeed Al-Harthi. I'm from Saudi Arabia. My topic is about integrate green hydrogen and energy system. I'm trying to stabilize the energy grid because it's a time they're using renewable energy like highly. So when we use the green hydrogen, when we use the renewable energy, it's not possible to stabilize the system because there is like the renewable energy, wind and PV, the sun is not stable all the time. So the sun is not shining every time and the wind is not blow all the time. And the demand is changeable. So I need to design system to stabilize both renewable energy and to meet the demand requirement.
So what you're trying to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you're trying to harness and store that sun energy or that wind energy when we've got it and store it in some way. Is that correct?
Yes, basically trying to use trying to use the excess power when we have excess power in the grid. So just produce hydrogen through the electrolyzers and store it in the tank and reuse it again in the grid using the fuel cell when we need it. So basically, as you can say, like energy storage system.
ERA is looking for solutions that will help the Midlands, the UK, and even the world reach net zero and a low carbon future. One particular technology that is high in its agenda is transitioning to hydrogen. Also in the studio is Dr. Kelly Manders, Regional Development Manager for Cadent, the UK's largest gas distribution network. Kelly also oversees Cadent's hydrogen transition programs and is one of ERA's industrial partners. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's get back to those basics. How can hydrogen help power a cleaner, lower carbon energy future?
Well, if we think about our industrial partners and manufacturers in the UK, they currently use a huge amount of natural gas. So what we're trying to do is to help them replace that natural gas with an equivalent such as hydrogen. They need to use natural gas to produce really high temperatures, to create vast amounts of steam for the chemical manufacturing industry, salt manufacturing, making cement and asphalt, and our food and drink industries, all here in this region. So they need an alternative, and that alternative is hydrogen. It's low carbon, and it's an easy replacement. They can blend hydrogen into natural gas straight away with their equipment that they currently have, and then they can purchase new equipment that's hydrogen ready as they move forward.
And where are we at in the UK with hydrogen? Because you do see hydrogen buses on the streets, don't you? And I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, what is that? How does that work?
Yeah, we've made a lot of progress in the UK. We are doing very well. We have green hydrogen, electrolytic hydrogen being produced right here in this region. So at High Marnham, they currently produce Europe's largest volume of hydrogen at that production facility, and they're growing. We have Toyota in the region as well at Derby, who've developed the hydrogen-fueled Hilux vehicle, and that's actually going into full-scale production at Burniston, just down the road. And Heidelberg Materials have also carried out a huge number of trials to show that they can make cement and asphalt with hydrogen in a low-carbon way.
And that's another link to the East Midlands, isn't it? Because tarmac was invented in Nottingham, I believe, just up the road. So the applications seem to be quite big, don't they? Can you kind of like paint us a picture really of how this might look in the future, how we can see that hydrogen replacing, those evil, horrible fossil fuels that we hear so much about?
So at Cadent, we're working really hard to help those industries transition to hydrogen. But for that to happen, that needs large-scale infrastructure. That needs a pipeline. For the volume of hydrogen that they would need to run their facility and their processes, they just have to have it through a pipeline. It can't be tankered on the back of a lorry. It's not economically viable. It's not efficient. It wouldn't be low carbon. So a major infrastructure and a pipeline is what's needed to connect the hydrogen production where it's being made and deliver it to where it's being needed.
And that's a big project.
It's a huge project, but it's one that we are really proactively working hard on in this region. We want to connect up and we want to develop that infrastructure for this region.
And what kind of timescales are we talking about when it comes to a project like this, to really get this hydrogen fuel into our everyday systems?
It will be on a case-by-case basis. The government has said it will support hydrogen infrastructure in the UK with a £500 million investment in the first new pipeline. But that will be a competition as to where that pipeline is built. So we're hoping that first pipeline would be open and running by 2032. The other pipelines that would then be in the running will be subject to further funding competitions and the construction.
But we can potentially see those hydrogen cars from Toyota a little bit sooner, do you think?
Yes, hydrogen refueling for vehicles is a slightly separate initiative. So there are refuelers dotted around the country now. We're hoping that there'll be more, and that will enable hydrogen fuel vehicles to move around the country.
And this region seems to have a big part to play.
Absolutely, yes. We've been innovators. There are some of the biggest hydrogen technology providers currently based in the region. I mentioned the hydrogen production taking place in North Nottinghamshire, and we're all working really hard to help the industries transition to hydrogen with that equipment, with that new technology. So our cement and brick manufacturers, the food and drink companies that I mentioned, helping them to deploy this technology now. And that will help ensure economic growth. It will protect and create new jobs in the low carbon space. And hopefully we'll all export our knowledge and utilise it around the world.
Exactly, because that's the key, isn't it? If you have the knowledge, you've then got to make sure that it gets to the right places, in effect, everywhere, really.
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, Kelly, thank you very much for joining us here at the University of Derby today.
Thank you.
To achieve all of this tech development, though, we need talent. And here is where our final guest comes in. So joining us is Dr. Neil Radford, Skills Manager at ERA. Now, Neil, one of the biggest challenges in tech and energy is talent. What skills gaps are you seeing across the sector right now?
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, so what we've got is, when people ask this question, they immediately think about engineering. They think about the technical skills. And yes, it's true, we are going to have a massive skills gap in the energy transition sector by the year 2030. Right, 400,000 jobs is what is sort of touted as the figure. A lot of that is around engineering, it's around manufacture, it's around the operation of, it's around the installation and the maintenance of infrastructure. But actually, I think where we're moving to and where policy is moving to is recognizing that there's also a talent gap in terms of our researchers, because what we want to be able to do is have people join the industry who have interdisciplinary skills. So it's good that they're innovators. It's good that they've got the technical skills. It's good that they're coming up with new ideas and being creative and helping us to solve the issues that we see around energy transition. But they also need to be policy aware. They need to be able to be aware of regulation. They need to be able to be aware of social justice and how the innovations that they're bringing in are going to impact society and community. So they've got a lot of areas and skill sets that they need to be working on and be aware of.
And that's where you're coming in.
Absolutely.
Because, knowing all of that, if you just come out of university, I mean, as much as well read and as well rounded and as cultured or whatever that you can be, and if you are top of the field, to have all of that is nigh on impossible. So how do you take these young people and then kind of put all of that skill set in there?
Well, I mean, we work really closely with our university partners and with their centres for doctoral training, because they are producing huge amounts of training materials and training sessions. That they have a fantastic, they do a fantastic job in terms of that training of doctoral trainees. What we try and do as ERA is we try and augment that. So as my colleagues have said, we're very good at bringing people together. It's a lot of what we do is about that collaboration piece. It's about that networking. It's about making sure that people are talking to each other, not just across those universities, but with industry as well. So through our events and our activities, we're encouraging early career researchers, that's doctoral researchers and postdocs, to meet and get involved with and connect with and be involved in activities that help them to build that interdisciplinarity. So an example might be where we're running an event soon where there's going to be a real world challenge that an industrial partner has put forward, and we're going to have groups or teams of researchers, of young researchers, who are going to be battling it out for a £500 sort of prize as teams, so that they'll be discussing different possible solutions to that challenge, and they'll be coming from lots of different disciplines. And the way it'll be set up is that we'll match them across disciplines so that we're getting a real discussion. So it's about researchers being able to recognize, not always being experts in all of those things, but being able to recognize that they need to be aware of those things and being able to connect with people who are also then experts in those things. So we build their capacity, because it's important that we have people who are policy capacity, for example, policy capability for net zero, or people that are able to understand the social aspects of this, or be able to connect with the engineers and be able to help build the infrastructure, through that teamwork with the people who are building.
And I saw at the dress rehearsals at Valiant Live, the venue that you're going to be showcasing at this summer, just the diversity of those young people. There was a girl from Ghana talking about something that I really had to read it quite a few times because it was mind-blowing. Then we had Syed from Saudi Arabia. I mean, and you can hear it in their voices, in their ideas, in everything. You cover such a large range of technology, but also from a global perspective, because they're bringing their uniqueness and their cultural identity to that research as well.
I think that's absolutely true, and it's a fantastic thing that we've got some fantastic researchers in the UK, some researchers from the UK itself, but also globally, and it's a global issue we're working with here. And whilst we're talking about the Midlands region and East Midlands in particular, this conference is not just about the East Midlands. It's also about the national picture, and it's also about the global picture. So it's really important that we're bringing talent in, and we're seeing universities bring talent in from wherever it is, so it can help us to solve these massive problems that we're faced with.
Dr. Neil Radford, thank you very much. Thank you to all our guests. But just as a final roundup, Nick, Neil, have you got any final thoughts for the next 10 years of ERA?
Well, I think I'll step into that one. I think the big thing is we're going to have to work with individuals so that they are rounded in the sense of being able to take on all of those different areas. It's really important that we drive new technology and new innovation, but at the same time, we need that to be ethical and be sensitive to how it's going to be used in practice. You know, the reality is that energy transition is for people, and so it has to be managed so that it can be for people. So we need to work over the next 10 years to make sure we've got those interdisciplinary skilled individuals, but who can also work with the general public, work with everybody in society to help see that come to fruition, so that we end up with, you know, a deployable energy infrastructure that research talent is translating for us.
Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I think the next 10 years are going to be incredibly important for the whole of the net zero and climate change issues that we're facing as a world. But, you know, what gives me encouragement is that the pace of change in energy is accelerating rapidly. Universities are playing a big part in that, and businesses as well. You know, so there are opportunities for them to develop new technologies. So I see that we will continue to sort of collaborate and build these partnerships with businesses in this region and beyond. And yeah, I think we can all play our part in building a more resilient and cleaner and greener future.
Thank you to Nick King, Neil Radford, Amanda Baxendale and Kelly Manders. Do try and come along to their summer showcase at East Mids Tech Week. I've seen some of the rehearsals and it's going to be a huge tech fest of innovation that'll be worth the trip. Tickets are free, but you must register on their website. And that's all for this edition from the University of Derby podcast studios. The production manager is Liz Toohey and I'm the editor. Until next week, bye-bye.